Okay guys, so welcome to this exercise video where we're going to be showing you some exercises based on lower limb and upper limb as well, and we're going to be using some basic pool equipment to do so. But before we start, we're going to go into a warm-up just to raise the heart, and Ben's going to show you demonstrations from the pool. So what we're going to begin with is we're just going to start with walking across to the other side of the pool and back. And this time we're just going to have slightly wider strides, just increasing the speed ever so slightly. And this time we're just going to start incorporating the arms into the walk as well, using the water as the resistance. And then we're going to start doing some mini lunges, so just slightly wider strokes than what we'd usually do. Just stretching out those big muscles in the legs. And then we're going to just go into lifting the knees up as we're walking, bringing those knees as high up to the surface of the water as we can. And the next one, we're going to carry on with the high knees, but we're going to rotate our core, our trunk, ever so slightly, and tapping your hand onto the opposite knee. And the next one we're going to be doing is just heel flicks. Just bending the knee and flicking our heels back. And the last part of this warm-up we're going to do is just mini squats, rotating one side and then facing the other, to the other side of the pool and back. Good, and that's the end of the warm-up, so hopefully your heart rate has gone up a little bit and your muscles are a little bit warmer and ready for an exercise session. Okay, so for this exercise we're going to do heel raises, and this exercise will strengthen the muscles of the calf. So what we want to do is you can do this with or without equipment. If you're doing it without equipment, it's easy enough. We're just going up onto our tiptoes, holding for a couple seconds and slowly lowering back down. Up onto our tiptoes and slowly lowering back down with control. If you do want to use a noodle and you have one, you can stand on top of the noodle with the balls of your feet on top, and it makes it a little bit harder. So we're going up onto our tiptoes and slowly down. And we're going to be doing this 10 times twice. So up, hold for a couple of seconds, and down with control, and up, and slowly down with control. If you want to use the side of the pool with this, you can, to make it a little bit easier for the balance. So the next exercise that we're going to be doing is squats with the noodle. Now this exercise, you want to be having your chest nice and straight. We want to be bending through the hips, like so, as if you were sitting down on a chair. You want to have nice wide stance with your feet as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the woggle under our armpits with our hands just resting on top. As we bend down, the resistance is going to want to bring the noodle up, so you're pushing against the weight. And we're going to do 2 lots of 10. We want to ensure that our heels remain flat onto the floor and that they're not coming up as we're going down. Heels flat onto the floor, taking the weight, and then up to the top. So the next exercise that we're going to be doing is a lunge, walking to the other side of the pool and back. You can do this with or without the equipment. If you're doing it without the equipment, we just want to be lunging forward, coming back in, and then lunging again. If you are using the equipment, then the noodle is a good piece of equipment to use for this exercise. So what we want to be doing is lunging forward and pulling it down to our knee and back up. Lunging down to our knee, back up. Lunging down to our knee and back up. Okay, so the next exercise that we're going to move on to is the knee raise with the noodle underneath the foot. Now this exercise will improve the strength of the quadricep muscles, and how we're going to do it is we're going to have the noodle underneath the foot, raise up nice and slowly and push back down to the floor. As you go up, the noodle will be pushing your foot up, so you need to go it slowly and controlled and then slowly back down to the floor. We're going to do 10 repetitions on our left and 10 repetitions on our right. You might want to hold on to the side of the pool for this exercise just to improve your balance a little bit as you're doing a single leg exercise. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move into some predominantly upper body exercises. So the first one we're going to do to start off is punching, but holding the noodle in our hands. So we're going to hold them in either hand, but again you can do this without the equipment itself, and we're going to go for 20 seconds punching into the water. If you want to do it for longer and increase it for 30 seconds, you can do that as well, but we'll start with 20. Okay, so the next exercise that we're going to move on to is pushing and pulling with the float. So how we're going to do this is by using one of these boards, and the way we're going to do it is have a split stance, so one foot in front of the other, and we're going to be pushing away and pulling towards us. And we're going to be using the resistance of the water as our weight, okay? So we're just going to be doing like so. You can make it easier by holding the board portrait, pushing and pulling again. If you find that difficult, you can change to one of the noodles, pushing and pulling. And we're going to do that for 20 seconds, but again, you can go on for longer if you want to. Okay, so the next exercise that we're going to move on to is lateral raises. And this is going to improve the strength of the shoulder muscles. So what we're going to do is we're going to need 2 noodles this time, 1 in each side. And how we want to do it is we want to bend our knees so our shoulders are at the same height as the surface of the water. And all we're going to be doing is bringing them down into our sides and bringing them back up. And we're going to do 2 lots of 10. If you struggle with this exercise, you don't have to use the noodles at all, and you can just use body weight. Okay, so the final exercise that we're going to be doing is flick backs with the noodle. Again, you can do this with or without the piece of equipment, depending on how you find it. So what we're going to do is just bend our knees ever so slightly, bring our hands to the same height as the surface of the water and flick back, and slowly bring it back. Flick back, and then slowly come back. And we're going to do this 2 lots of 10. And this will be strengthening the tricep muscles. Okay, so that brings us to an end of the pool session. If you need to purchase any of the equipment, you can easily access this online or at your local leisure centre.